You're listening to iFanboy Pick of the Week, episode 999. That got real. That got real is when I
Real
said that.
fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I like very clearly remember we were in the 70s. We were in the 1770s. No, we were somewhere in the 60s or 70s, and
cholera.
You start talking about this 1000th show, and I'm like, brother, you need to back off. And then a little while later, I was like, there's still weeks to go. And now it's 1 week to go. And sometimes having a tenuous grasp on time works for you, and other times it doesn't. And
True.
I do. Hey, this is like I said, episode pick of the week, episode 999, which by any accounts is impressive, at least because some people we know were listening. If nobody was listening, we had 999 of it. That might
It's still
have to have
impressive. That's the act of
an
it, the
intervention.
work of it.
Sure. Well, what is obsession versus accomplishment? Like, eventually, like, stop making dip. They're not coming to your party. My name is Josh Flanagan. I like analogies and metaphors. This is my co-host Connor Kilpatrick.
Hello.
I wasn't looking to say metaphor. What's the thing? There's the simile, and then the other one. No, like the simile is like this is like this, and then the other one is this is this. I can't believe how metaphor. Was I right?
You started at metaphor and you came
back
to metaphor.
There's a naked little boy on his way to the shower. Anyway, I did metaphor. It just didn't sound right when I said it. Okay. Where was I? I'm Josh.
I don't
That's
know.
Connor.
It all falls apart at the last minute.
I am so overtired, dude. iFanboy 2025. That's our 20th year of doing this show and our 25th year of doing iFanboy. And I want you to understand 20 years of doing this thing doesn't necessarily make you better, but it makes you less upset when you suck. And that is a key thing. Okay, so what? There's always next week for the rest of fucking time. That means every week for 25 years and until we're both dead.
Right.
Actually, I think.
And then by then be AI. We'll have an AI.
I'm willing to call
for whoever dies first.
Yeah, but then it'll only be AIs watching it, and I'm like Miles Dyson holding the dead man's
It'll be
trigger.
a loop of AIs people making for AI viewers. Yeah.
Yeah. And somehow they're making money off of it. I don't know. Every week for 25 years, one of us has picked the book that they like the best from their stack of comics. They come out every week, just in case. Like, I want to be clear about that. Every week, more comics come out. There was only like a couple in the pandemic where they didn't, and then they didn't know how to stop either. So we call the best one that we read the pick of the week. We name the whole show after that. We talk about that book. We talk about other books from this week, which we believe merit discussion of some kind. We will have a patron pick where the listeners pick a book that would not otherwise merit discussion, but, Dan Death March.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Is it more? Is it or less?
I think, well, we'll find out. We'll find out later.
Listen, my opinion on that varies from week to week, depending on what it is I've had to do.
Sure.
There may or may not be listener mail given. I mean, right now, bad sign. I don't know if you're timing this, but we've been starting at the 1:30 mark.
We're like 3 minutes beyond normally we are right now.
Wow. It should be fun. I'm having fun. I'm not sure if anybody else is, but as I said, 20 years, I don't give a shit. Connor, you had the pick of the week. I'm going to take a nap.
I did a lot of books this week, although not an overwhelming number, but a lot. And Josh said to me, "I know what your pick's going to be," because he finished his books way before I did, which is unusual. And I was like, "Yeah, I think I know what he's talking about," because I knew it was coming. But I read all the books, give them all a chance. And at the end of the day, there were lots of fun books this week, but there was no contest. The pick of the week was Batman, Superman, World's Finest 44.
I want to say this is the second or third book I read. Or no, actually, I'd read a bunch of them, maybe like half. And I got that, and like last page, I flipped it. I was like, well, it's done. Like it was I had no doubt.
Okay, so this book was written by Mark Waid and Mark Russell. We're going to talk about how they divvied that up in a second. Art by new artist for the book, Lucas Meyer. I was totally fine with him taking over the book. I thought he was terrific. Colors by Rain Barretto, letters by Steve Wands. And so when this book started, we had Batman, Superman, and Robin on adventures. And then Supergirl would occasionally join, and they initially showed Supergirl and Robin being really icy towards each other and really kind of snipping at each other. And then it was revealed that they went on a date, and then somewhere early on in the run, they showed the date issue that was going to reveal why they were disliking each other so much. And it was honestly a big disappointment. It's probably the least good issue of the series. Like they built this up, and it wasn't the date wasn't that bad and wasn't that weird, and it was just sort of didn't seem to work. So we kind of moved on from that. And so then
It's
I
like I
saw.
didn't even like remember that. I don't like it was
I
vaguely,
actually
but
don't think
I
you were on
never.
the show that time. I feel like Ryan was on the show.
I must have read it though, but still,
Sure,
like,
but it was such a disappointment after the build up that we just all kind of moved on collectively.
Mhm.
So then I saw this cover for the next issue, which showed Robin Supergirl road trip, and I just went, "Oh, interesting. They're going back." And so I was excited for that. Put that aside. I opened the book up, start reading it, notice it's a new artist, really like the style. Looks a little bit like, oh, what is his name? I can't think of it at the moment. It'll come to me. And then I get to the credits page and I see Mark Waid and Mark Russell, and I went, what?
Mhm.
It quickly became clear to me from my veteran comic reading brain that, and I could be wrong, but this is what I'm thinking. Mark Waid and Mark Russell plotted this book, and Mark Russell scripted it because the
Which is, by the
dialogue is
way,
straight up Mark Russell. The jokes are straight up Mark Russell.
I
Doesn't
didn't
feel like
I
a Mark
didn't
Waid book at all.
I didn't see that about
Mhm.
Mark Russell until you mentioned
Mhm.
it. I don't think I ever looked. I was just like, world's finest. I know what it is. I know what to expect. If the art grabs me, I'll go back to the beginning. But that's really interesting. But also, as you know, in classic comic book tradition, 44 issues in, somebody comes on as a co-writer. I think we can guess where this might be
No,
going.
not always. They well, I mean, we'll see. It's entirely
Yeah.
possible, but they've had other people join this book before. They had a co-writer for something, another part of the book, but it didn't end up changing the writer. But if you go in knowing it's Mark Russell, all of the corporate jokes are straight up Mark Russell stuff. There's like
Mhm.
straight up Mark Russell gags in this book that Mark Waid doesn't write. Those
Right.
kind of stuff. So
Did you also notice there was no road trip of any kind?
right,
They were in a car at one point, and that was when I knew, by the way. I was those last couple pages like, "Oh, yeah, this is going to be his deal." By the way, I want to read the book with this Robin Desert Buggy cuz that
right.
thing's awesome.
It's true. Someone didn't give Dan Moore the proper plot memo for this because he did the cover. It has nothing to do with the comic itself, and that card does not appear in the book. But so what happens is that it opens up with a Batman Superman adventure, and they're saving the day, and Superman's like, "Hey, this is too bad that Robin wasn't here. He would have really liked this mission." And Bruce says, "Oh no, I sent him off on a solo mission." And remember, this takes place in the past when Dick Grayson is an early Robin, the early version. I've sent him off to this to investigate this suspicious factory in like California, and he tells Clark the name of the factory, and Clark goes, "What? I know something about that factory. It may in fact be Lex Luthor's place. He's probably going to be over his head, so he contacts Supergirl, who sends him out there to back him up." And Dick, dressed like the preppiest Robin ever, with the yellow sweater over his shoulders, with the somehow a green shirt over the red with the red vest, like look just dressed exactly like Robin, but with civilian clothes. I guess he drives from Gotham. It seems incredibly inefficient.
In a
They have
in a
mini jets,
hypercar.
but they have so many jets. Like Gotham City's on the East Coast. He's going all the way to wherever Andorra Industries is.
Yeah, but
Um,
he's not supposed to be
he
he's
could
not
take a
supposed to
regular
be,
plane.
I guess, but
Did
he's
they
got a
say where it
hypercar.
was?
I'd want to drive that. Look at it. What
It
is
says he's
that?
going to
Is that a
Sedona.
Bugatti? No.
Yeah, he's
That's
going to
a
Sedona.
what is that? Like a Pagani or something? I can't tell the hypercars apart.
The
They're
point
all
is, he's
very.
driving to California, and that is too far. It
Who's
seems like
got
a
Led Zeppelin in their head out there? Just
waste
me?
of time. So he goes out there not knowing what he's getting into. Supergirl's sort of watching over him, backing him up until they're forced to team up in the place itself. They find out this place is making artificial kryptonite, and so there's a whole mess. They get captured together. They're forced to work together to break out. There's all kinds of Mark Russell office hijinks jokes in it, pizza parties, and a guard with a lot of relationship advice for these two who are not dating. And it was full of like
I
super Mark Russell-y like mundanity jokes.
I don't know how I didn't notice it. I mean, like I said, that's weird. Wade's getting really loose with this one, but I just kind of went with it because I was like, it's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
And
funny
then
though.
she's kind of coming around on him through the adventure in the place, to the point where they fly out as it explodes, as one employee says, "My 401k," and they're awkwardly kissing in the sky on the way out. Cut to the next morning, which I guess they're now back in Gotham somehow. Did she fly the car back? I guess she did.
I guess they did go on a road trip.
They went on a road trip.
Between
Well, they didn't, because it says the next
pages-
morning. The caption says the next morning. They're
between
in
pages
Sedona.
18 and 19, they went back to Gotham. Did you see the sign at the beginning when Tim is leaving Gotham, and it's a billboard
Dick.
that has Batman on it? You're right. Sorry, you
Yeah,
know,
no.
my heart.
That was a joke that doesn't belong in a regular DC book, but it was
Totally,
funny.
but it was funny. You are leaving Gotham. Not a bad decision, all told.
With Batman
and
on it.
Batman smiling on it.
Yeah, that joke shouldn't belong in a regular DC comic book. It's fine, whatever. Who cares?
You should take away my podcaster card, because I mean, I enjoyed it and read it. I got whatever, but it never occurred to me to be like, hey, this is different. Just because it's Mark Waid on this book. It's Mark Waid's book. Why would anybody else be on it? But
so the closing gag is we see the car, we see the Batmobile. No, we see Robin's car, not his buggy, but just a regular car he's driving, and there's an alarm.
It's not
going
a regular
off.
car.
Well, it's not a Batmobile. It's just a car.
I know. It's
and
pretty.
So,
I mean,
there's an alarm going off, and we only hear the dialogue outside the car. We don't see what's happening in the car. And he's like, "We accidentally hit the beacon. We got to turn it off, because this is only for when I'm really in big danger. So people are going to come. We got to get this turned off quick." And Batman punches it through the window and finds that Supergirl and Robin have been making out in the back seat, to the point where they accidentally turned on the beacon. So
again,
it was fun.
That car does not have a back seat. They are in the passenger seats. That drawing is a bit of a stretch of reality, but
yeah. Well, I guess they're in the front. Well, where's the dashboard? Where's the wheel?
That's why it's a bad drawing.
Yeah.
A car like that, you couldn't make out in a car like that, no matter what you did.
So you could maybe do some cocaine off the dashboard. So, it was fun. It was a nice combination of Mark Waid's longtime character stuff with the characters, with Mark Russell's gags. I thought the Lucas Mayer art was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. It did.
It worked.
Dodgy car stuff aside, the character stuff was really strong.
The car was beautifully rendered from Google, whatever that is that you use to paste in a car.
And this is an issue you can totally just read. This is a one-shot story. We're moving on to another arc after this. Before this was the Bizarro run.
What I really liked is that they set you up with, they don't like each other, and then she's going there, and I was like, we've talked about this a lot. Like, I don't want to watch them bicker.
There's nowhere else to go. We've already established they don't like each other. We don't need to do it again.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the surprise and the sort of joy of the thing is that Dick's cool. Like, he's like, he doesn't give a shit. Like, he can be a dork, whatever. He's going with the flow, and you either like that or not. Like, people like, they're doing him kind of dorky here, but that lovable dork that all comic book people wish they were. And then I really just liked that she starts with, oh, he's so lame, but just like, all right, that's not bad. And really, like, they're getting through the thing that they do like each other. They have things in common. It was just much more fun. They have to keep telling each other they're not dating and they don't like each other, but it's all sort of based on first impressions and how they think of themselves and all this other stuff. And there's a lot of cool stuff going on in here, I think. What looks like a very quick gaggy stuff, but instead it's interesting. And then you've got the stuff where, like, she's the one who flies up in the air and rescues him. She's the tough person. She's the protector in the relationship. And it's fun. And it's a lot of fun.
It was a nice arc in the issue of them. Like you said, she's annoyed, but then as they're spending more time together, she finds, he's competent. She likes that. He's kind of funny. She likes that. He's very badass, helping them to escape when they're captured, because she's got the kryptonite chains around him. She's into that. And so it was a nice arc, and you kind of bought the change.
I think that the logic in it is actually, I mean, I'm maybe they thought of this or maybe not, but they didn't get along before because they went on a date and they don't know how to operate like normal people. So here they're on a superhero adventure and they both know how to act with that and know what's good or bad about it. And then that's where that attraction comes from. That's where that respect comes from. And I think, I can give Wade credit for maybe doing this on purpose, but it's a really nice concept. Like, that these people aren't, I mean, like, this is a really good, elegant way of kind of hinting, but not saying outright, that these people are all fucked up.
Yeah.
They're adrenaline junkies. They have a lot of issues, but without hitting you over the head with it like they tried to do when they wanted to make comic books real.
I want to forestall any emails and complaints and comments. Sedona is not in California; it's in Arizona.
Oh, I thought you just said that.
It's all the same. It's still a problem of geography. Like fly to Arizona. There's a good joke at the end on the newspaper front page says LexCorp plant explodes. Plant made cat toys, says Luther. Like this is a Mark Russell book, and
yeah, totally. I
enjoyed it. If he wants to keep showing up every now and then, or if he is taking over, we'll see. But next issue is Joker and Luther together, so we'll see how that goes.
Is this monthly?
Yeah.
Or is it okay?
No, it's monthly.
So that's 4 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty crazy.
It's insane. This day and age, you've had Mark Waid, I think, has written every issue, or at least partially every issue.
I don't know if they restarted it when he started it because it had been other people.
Yeah, no, he got a new #1. This has been 44 issues of Mark Waid, and
should be noted. I feel like that just happened.
and as you said, it's spread into there were spinoffs. There was that Titans book spinoff. There was they crossed over with Justice League. Mark Waid moved over to Justice League. So at the time we were like, this could be the DC universe. This is the most fun DC universe we've read forever, and it's sort of seeped into a good portion of it. Not all of it, but a good portion of it, at least until the Dark Side stuff happened. Let's move on to One World Under Doom #8, the second to last issue of this event. I mean, it's an event, but it's funny. I was reading and thinking this is like the point where events are now, where there's just no the feeling you got in the old days reading Civil War or reading Secret Invasion or any of the crises, where it felt like the story was permeating into the larger universe. Where this is like it's in a bubble called One World Under Doom. It doesn't affect anything else. No one talks about it. No one's referencing it. It's just the way the world is now. But
I mean, it was in everything. And what's interesting, remember that like at the end of
there was lots of crossover books. I'm not saying they weren't. I'm just saying it doesn't feel like it's affecting anything else.
That was like 3 months, and then this is on month 8, and there's also, I want to say 2, 3, 4 months after the vampire thing ended when he took the mantle, and then we didn't deal with it for like months, which was really weird. And I don't want to hold any of that against this book, because I think at the end of the day, it's a lot more satisfying as a reader to like get a cool story that you're doing the way that you want to, not compressing it to fit the whole publishing schedule. So if they're willing to make that choice, I can appreciate that. I liked this a lot in that the thing about Doom now is this relationship with Valeria, and it's kind of this hidden linchpin of the whole story as it exists now, because he respects her. Those are his parents, or those are Valeria's parents that he's constantly trying to kill. And that is a conflict which cannot resolve itself. And so in this, I was like, is it going to end with her convincing him to stop? That would be lame. That would be a terrible. I was thinking, she went to talk to him, I was like, that would be awful. And I thought, Ryan, I'm pretty close to saying that Ryan North is maybe one of the smartest people who's ever written comics, just in terms of imagination and naughty KNOT plots, and getting his way out of them and doing things that aren't expected. So I thought that it what seemed like almost a red herring of a really dumb resolution of her being like, Uncle Doom, don't do it, and he doesn't. They got around that a little bit.
I had a similar thought reading it, where when she decides she's going to go teleport out and talk to some sense in him, I didn't think she was going to be successful, but I thought, well, that's interesting, because what would get him to stop immediately would be if he hurt Valeria by accident. I'm not patting myself on the back. I just had that thought.
Her leg is gone.
Well, her head is gone. And the final panel is her head falling off.
Look at that. I didn't even know. I didn't notice the leg or the head. I just saw she had been besharded.
So how does it happen? So a bunch of energy makes him blow up, or his armor blow up. And so all the heroes get like sort of shrapneled with the magical armor. They're all hurt. And then he looks and sees that she's really badly impaled, and to the point where you can see like she's missing a lower leg,
Mhm.
and there's a shard that sort of has sliced most of her neck, and then the last panel is a silhouette of her head falling off. I don't believe for a second this is gonna be permanent, because decapitating a child in a comic is a lot. But it would be, this is really the only way he stops, right? Unless because they've shown this, they've done a really good job of showing us that he's unstoppable here, right? With the power of Doctor Strange, and his own magic and his technology and his doom bots and everything, he's unbeatable. They've thrown everything they can at him, and so this is the only way to stop him is he accidentally hurts someone he loves.
And that is part of the genius of Ryan Northen through here, is that he has continually done that, and then he has to come up with another scheme for the heroes, and you're like, well, this could work, and then that doesn't work, and you show him get away from that, like how he creates a waypoint in time, how he, I think that was in the main book, doesn't matter, but I mean, it was
still part of the same story though. It was trying to
yeah.
I mean, I thought this was a really good issue. I've really liked this series, and I like that every time we're like, okay, this time they're gonna get him. They imbued the it wasn't Mjolnir, it was Stormbreaker. The hammer?
Stormbreaker, yeah. Beta Ray Bill showed up for the first time in fucking years.
Yeah, he was just
like,
sort of there.
Just there.
And then his hammer made a big appearance, and I was like, maybe they got him this time, and then they keep not, and it's been really fun. It just has been.
If this wasn't so smart, it would be really old by now.
It's been a lot of.
I mean, it a little bit like, okay, like he keeps, and also because we just know, like in the rest of the Marvel universe, this appears to be over, as far as I can tell. So I mean, not like we don't know, and you don't want it to be like, no, Doom wins, and now this is like Luthor being president for years or something,
There was some comic.
Oh, that just hit me. Sorry.
That referenced something. There was some comic that referenced something that I thought wasn't like a line-wide thing, and I was like, oh, we're doing that? Like, I don't remember what it was, but
I love it. I love that it's loose now. Like, people don't know anything, and the creators are like, I want to tell this story. I love it. Whatever. How does what Mark Waid's doing in Batman Superman match? I don't know. I don't care.
It was good. I really liked the issue. That was probably the only other issue I even thought about for pick of the week. There were good books I read. We're going to talk about more of them after this break. Okay, so we got some backstory on Wonder Woman's fight against the Mouse Man, Wonder Woman 826, Tom King, Danny Sampere, as I call him. We get the origin of Mouse Man.
Danny Simpery.
We get the origin of. He was part of a group of people who do not want to live under the tyranny of the heroes anymore. The tyranny / danger of living in a world of heroes. So they go and they buy an island, as if that's going to stop them from some sort of cosmic event.
I liked very much the old man who is sort of the patriarch of the movement.
Ernest Pye.
He didn't seem, obviously they're doing something sort of extreme, but he didn't seem like an unhinged weirdo so much.
No, his wife died in one of the crises, and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. We're gonna go live on this island. Like, I don't.
And so when it starts off, you go, is it going to be this guy? That's weird. And then you sort of get what happens, and you're going to watch. And I mean, this is like, this whole thing is patently ridiculous. We can just all accept that, right? Totally. And it's being couched in the form of something that's serious. But I mean, Tom King is really walking a line with it, because it's ridiculous. But
and
here
creepy,
he's kind of
creepy as fuck.
It is creepy, and then like how we end it, where her child is in danger, like that then gets serious. It is the sort of like mixing silly with serious, quote unquote, is pretty good here. That.
And how he gets to the silly is serious. So like they move to this island, and one of the dudes who moves to the island has 2 mice, his pet mice in a cage, and that's the Mouse Man. And he's having like tea on the porch with Ernie, and he's like, it sucks. The old man's like, it sucks that we go to this place, and people are still people. People are robbing people. They're having fights. Like, it's still, you can't escape from humanity, right? Like it's ingrained in us. And so basically, Mouse Man starts a gang of vigilantes with giant mice. So they don't say how the mice get giant, by the way. That's the only thing.
Well, he's also growing micey teeth. So
yeah, well, the Mouse Man's getting bigger ears and teeth, but it doesn't say how that's happening or the mice are getting giant. It doesn't really matter. And so slowly takes over to the point where people are talking and complaining about his rule, and so he decrees that you could only say these words, which is Mouse Man knows. Is it?
Mice have ears, Mouse Man knows.
Right.
Is there a third one?
I think that's it. Just those 2 sentences.
There's that page of the dad like training the little girl not to say it, and it was like slaps her. Like, that was rough.
And then also, just because I really hate rodents, like mice and rats. This comes from living in New York.
Yeah, no, it clicked.
When he gets into the bathtub full of mice, I just was like, my skin crawled off my body, ran out the door. Like
those look like rats.
Well, they're giant mice, right?
Oh,
like,
I see.
They're growing.
That one has a rat tail. They don't look the same. Anyway, the page before that, actually.
Oh, I also had them eat their way through the old man.
That,
like it got
that
up,
one
like,
got me.
It got fucked up in a hurry.
That's nightmare shit. So I live in the woods, and we have mice. Like, they get in sometimes. We get rid of them or whatever. Mice don't bother me. Rats freak me the fuck out. But they don't have them here.
We very briefly had a rat in New York because there was a construction site, and
like in the house,
in the apartment, and
they're big.
I remember. I distinctly. I can still. My skin is crawling. I was laying in bed in my bedroom reading at night, and something came into the room, slammed into the door, which was open, and then ran under the bed, and it was a fucking rat. And I was basically like, I gotta set myself on fire.
Like a big New York City rat.
Yeah, because
like you'd see them on the subway tracks, and like you could saddle those fuckers.
No, and I was like, I guess I gotta kill myself and burn this building down. Like I didn't know, I couldn't sleep. And then
how old? It was in Brooklyn.
Yeah, so I was living in Brooklyn in my 20s, and
oh god,
there was
you never mentioned that.
Yeah, there was definitely some rat droppings, and then they left, and the construction stopped, and we didn't see, there were no more indications of rats ever again. It was just the one time I was laying in bed like what am I gonna do? I gotta die.
That's a little room too.
Yeah.
You had nowhere to go.
Yeah, I don't even talk about the fact that the droppings were found on the windowsill, which were next to my head in the bed. Yeah.
All right.
Let's move on.
You know what? Let's take 20 minutes.
I'm going to throw up. The Adventures of Lumen N number 2. Yeah, it made me skin crawl. The Adventures of Lumen N number 2. Despite the fact that this was a very much an info dumpy issue, like we got.
Yes.
What is the backstory and who are these people? Here it is, and it wasn't bad. It just was an info dumpy issue, so it wasn't.
It totally was, and I was aware of it, but I did not care, and that was really good. Just to catch people up, the little girl, she's been trained extremely severely for her whole life. She doesn't know anything. Her dad's gone, and then she finds out that her dad is her grandfather is Captain Nemo, who's put himself into some sort of hypersleep or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So he comes and picks her up, and then lays out the whole story of what's happened, and
her dad is also an adventurer who is being framed for becoming a monster. Like Nemo is an Indian man who
Nemo is an environmental terrorist,
right? But in the world of imperialist England, he's considered a bad guy. And then his son decides he's going to just do good.
Have you read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
I don't think I have. And so, but then he's like, but then he turned evil and started doing evil things, and we find out here someone's impersonating his son. His son is actually never turned evil, but we get allusions to H.G. Wells's The Time Traveler, who's going to appear in the story, and then the villain is also
and
then the villain's also a very small character from Victorian literature.
See, I didn't know that one.
I've never even heard. Well, I read the essay in the back.
So you're right. There's this huge info dump in this, but there's a couple of things that happened that really brought me joy. One is, again, I just pick it up and start reading, and then I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, who is this again? God, this looks awesome. And I went back. I was all right, Phil Hester, and I got very excited because I just love Phil Hester's art. Also, he's a hell of a dude, and so like just the whole time I'm looking at it, and I literally I don't understand why he's not a superstar. I do, but I think he's great. And then the other part is just like, who's gonna do this besides James Robinson? Who's gonna do this and also do it well? And listen, he's He's doing a little bit of a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen thing here.
Well, he said that in the first issue in his essay. So
Yeah,
I realized what it's, but it's
yeah,
to be different.
but I don't care because this is a guy like you have a guy who's a little older than us. I would say a middle or older Gen X person, grew up in England, sort of like, you know, swathed in this kind of you know, literature and adventure
Right.
stuff and boys' life and this kind of thing that no one our age or younger is really going to be have the same relationship to. And so it's a cipher to do a story with these kinds of characters and have fun with them.
But it's
And
also 180 degrees from the League of Extraordinary
everything.
Gentlemen in terms of
Yeah.
tone. It's the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I fucking
Oh,
love. So it's not a
yeah,
knock on it. Was dark and cynical and
right.
and angry and mean. Whereas this is like this is an adventure story. We're going on an
Yeah.
adventure. I mean, things could get dark and angry and cynical and mean later, but right now it's like your dad is a famous adventurer, and you're gonna go. Oh, your granddad, and you're gonna go on an adventure with him, and he's got a giant ship, and like it's fun. It's exciting.
And a house has legs. But so that's the thing. Like it's kind of Mouse Man knows. It's just this sort of
like that.
pure adventure comic that they don't do anymore. It's like the EC comics, those things. It's a different version of that, you know, modernized to a certain extent. Great art, like again, James Robinson can write like this, which is sort of retro modern, but not even that and again, I don't know anybody else can do that. And so it's a special thing, even though this is pretty, you know, like if you were to describe this book, you're like, oh, that sounds cool, but it would have come out in the 60s. But now it's coming out now. Also, the color is beautiful. It's a great book. I'm so happy about it. I love it.
We talk on the show a lot. We sometimes threaten the listeners and the viewers. I would like people to check this book out because I'd like it to go long enough that we can actually get deep into this story. Like I don't want this to get canceled after 12 issues or 8 issues because he clearly has a longer story here planned. And so and you know, I don't know what their rates are these days, but my hope is that enough people check this book out that we can. I don't need it to go 90 issues, but you know, I'm hoping he can tell his story and tell Hester's story.
This cool story of like, all right, let's look at Nemo. And again, we're however many years after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and 100 years after 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. By the way, when I say 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, I hear Phil Hartman doing it as Kirk Douglas. I don't know if does that make sense to you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But there's all sorts of interesting things. And then you're going to have like what? The granddaughter of Nemo. She can go on adventures. Like,
right. I just want people to check it out. And therefore I want them to keep publishing it.
And without that sort of cynical postmodern tone. That's what's not here.
Right.
And yeah, it has a lot of promise, I think. And just it's classic in a way that nothing else is right now.
And it's also different because at least as far as we know, like these days, everything, especially books like this, are always like, this is a 5-issue mini. And they're going to cram it all. They cram it all into 5. Whereas this, as far as I can tell from the way he talks about it in the back, this is an ongoing series, and I'm sure it's entirely possible it could be put out in volumes to capitalize on the bump from the one. But I just really hope he gets to go into this story in a way that they used to be able to do in the heyday of you know, when he made comics in the 90s.
Yeah.
All right, another break. More comics right after this. G.I. Joe number 12. Joshua Williamson, Marco Fodera, new artist in the book. I was torn. I had 2 strong feelings about this book. One, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a fun little story about the prison break, featuring the concept I really like, which is this G.I. Joe like covert strike team that even Duke doesn't know exists. Only Colonel Hawk knows about, which is Flint and Beachhead and Lady J. Man, justice for Lowlight. I mean, they've already got a sniper character. Like, I think this character whose name I don't even remember.
Shooter.
Was very interesting. Shooter.
She was great.
It was very interesting. I liked her character a lot. That was why I was torn, because I thought her story was interesting. I thought her personality was fun. I thought she was awesome. But then I think about the smaller G.I. Joe characters that are never going to get featured in a book like this. They already got a sniper. His name is Lowlight. It's a bummer, but she was great. I'm not knocking her. Her character was awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. The issue was fun. Major Blood gets bionic eyes. The They referenced the Transformers again in a big way, which they haven't done in a while. We got a Dreadnought intrigue. Like, there's a lot going on in this issue, and I thought it was really terrific.
So I would just say, like, let this book do what it does, because they're still publishing Larry Hama's story. So you actually literally do get it both ways. And you know, Larry was the master of sort of like getting everyone to the spotlight for a little while. Like he got those characters in and out, moved them along. You know, that's not going to be necessarily how this one goes. And what I did think was whole time, I was like, all right, first there's a new character. It's the white comic book writers like always, let's put a young black woman in there, which is what they all do. But it was, and I'm not saying there's a problem with that. I'm just saying it's a very common thing for comic book writers to do for whatever reason. But she was great the whole time. I was like, I want to spend more time with her. This is interesting. She's super fucking skilled, you know, and she was
confident.
She's a killer too.
She wears her dad's Olympic medal, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that was all. I was like, that's some G.I. Joe shit right there. Like, that would have been one of those things where you get the like, it would have been on the back of the card. Like it would have been on the figure. Be like, what's that about? And then at some point, you know, you'd heard somewhere like, that was her dad's Olympic medal because he was a shooter. And also, it makes her code name not stupid.
Well, I don't agree with that. What I was about to say was, I think the code name seems a little lazy in that sense. There could have been an Olympics pun.
Do you not remember Wave One?
Well, they didn't know what they didn't know what they were. They just thought they were making toys. Like, they didn't really understand what they were doing yet. But I mean, they could have been an Olympics pun. It could have been, her name could have been Podium. You know, it could have.
That's,
you know. You know, biathlon. Biathlon would have been an awesome name.
You're going to actually say biathlon after we've been making fun of triathlon for 30 years.
Well, this leaves we have a reason for it. She was a biathlete.
He was 3 times better.
So,
which doesn't have anything to do with triathlons, by the way.
Right. Well, the tri and an athlon.
I heard a story today about an 80-year-old woman who completed an Ironman event. And I was like, that's really nice. And then they described the Ironman event, because I hadn't quite understood, but it was, and I was like, oh shit, it was 100-something miles on a bike, a full marathon, and then 2 miles swimming. But they started with 2 miles swimming, and I was like, that's not so bad. And then 100 miles on a bike, and they were like, she's 80. She didn't learn to swim, so she was 60. Put her on the fucking Joe team.
She should be on the Joe team. She should lead the Joe team. This is a good issue. You
can call her Cookies.
If you've never read G.I. Joe and you've heard us talk about it, you can totally just check out this issue and you'll get a sense for the book. You get a complete story from this rescue op. And
I have no idea
the tone.
I have no idea if someone would like this if they don't care. Like, I don't know.
No, I think the storytelling was great and her character was cool. I'm happy if she shoots Risk and kills him, and then we never see Risk again. That'd be fine.
You know what? Why don't we let him make Risk interesting? Let's give him time.
They haven't yet.
Josh Williamson's very talented. He's got a lot going on.
So you dropped
Captain America. DC universe.
You dropped Captain America.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't remember if I dropped it this issue or the last one, but I saw it and I just went, eh.
Captain America 775 or 4.
That cover's not helping.
I thought this was good. So they're on that mission in Latveria. This takes place in the past when Cap has just come out of the ice, and Cap's in the middle of fighting Doom, and they have a nice running battle through Latveria, the two of them, and Cap gets to have the anti-fascist stand-up moment when Doom is addressing his people, and that was nice. But then, while that's happening, the other people in the strike force, including the new Cap, are rescuing the hostages, the whole reason why they came in the first place, and they get to rescue them, and the other Howling Commandos then kill the hostages and say, sorry, our mission was to shut them up because they have damaging information that the government doesn't want to get out. And so now the new Cap is completely disillusioned with the government. I don't think he's going to survive this arc. And I thought it was good. I mean,
when he's dead, I'll come back and check it out.
I'll let you know. And there's another, actually, this is the second issue this week where Doom's mask comes off. It happened in One World Under Doom, and here Cap rips it off, and he's ashamed and hiding his face the whole time. And
is this? This isn't now. This is then.
This is the past. This is Cap's first mission after being in the ice.
All right.
I liked it. And then here you go. The next issue cover is the Avengers. So maybe you can actually get a story you want to read.
Look at those wings. Look at Thor's helmet.
And It's a big one. He's got a big smile on his face too.
Hmm.
So I thought it was. There are things with this arc I really like, especially with when you think about the other Cap books have been lately. Yeah, there are things I don't like. I don't like this new Cap, but he's
I mean,
he's the past Cap.
it reminds me of like this is how you it was sort of on Batman, but you were sort of more towards not liking it. But like Chip Zdarsky on a book like this and Daredevil, like I really like his indie work. I'm very split on his superhero work. Fair enough.
This is good and this is not good. That's fine.
Yeah,
he writes a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't, since this does take place in the past, and this Cap isn't running around the Marvel Universe currently, he's either completely gone or he becomes something else. But obviously, Steve is Cap until Sam becomes Cap, and then Steve is Cap again, and now we have two Caps, and it's stupid. Why don't you tell people how to help the show?
But at the end of the day, I think you all know the point I'm getting at. It's stupid.
It is stupid.
If you appreciate incisive, cutting, thoughtful commentary on this specific storytelling form, these comic books.
There's plenty of other shows out there.
Yeah. But for here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna tell you one thing. It all comes down to this: stupid, not stupid,
not stupid. That's all. It's binary system.
Write that down. I could see that coming back. Oh. It's in the end stupid. Listen, so if you like that for some fucking reason, patreon.com/iFanboy is a way for us to be supported by you. Yeah, diagram that sentence. We are listeners. I do not know what's going on tonight.
So you're in a mood. It's fine.
I am. I hadn't been until I sat down, and then it just came out. We are listener supported. You can help support the show. People who do it are wonderful people. People who don't do it, I suspect, but I don't know. You might have other reasons not to, and I'm not going to hold that against you. Show's still going to be up there for you to listen. But if you do support the show, happy feelings in your heart. Just it's a good feeling,
and in your naughty bits a little bit too. Just a little bit. Just a little. It's mostly heart, but it's occasionally other bits.
Right. It could be that you're sitting on a washing machine. I don't know.
Don't ask me to explain why.
Directly support the show. Listen, he put that out there. I just want to go ahead and clarify. He put that out there. I can't help that. I put things out there all the time that he wishes I hadn't. You can directly support the show, become a part of a great community. I'm going to move the script right under the camera so I don't look like I'm looking away. There we go. Oh, I made it huge. Sorry, it took over the entire screen. It was too much. Oh man, it scrolled too. This is bad, people. $10 or higher, you'll get an eye-free version of the show and all of our shows. Plus, you get the Pick of the Week show a day early, which is on Saturday. Plus, you get access to the iFanboy After Show. On Sundays, we're going to talk about all the books that did not make this show's rundown. And I'm saying this week, I'm going to want to get out fast, but I'm not doing anything fast. So who knows? There's a discount if you sign up for one full year, and you can now give or receive gift memberships as well. That's the full year. I assume that you don't get a 3-month bargain. You just have to do a year, but I don't know. Go to patreon.com/iFanboy/gift to find out those details, and then don't tell me. For more info. iFanboy.threadless.com, our merch. I'm very surprised after all these years that there's people who really don't know when I'm being sarcastic. A shocking amount of times.
It happens.
Yeah, I'm quite dry, I've been told. I have people who live here that don't know it, so that's fine. iFanboy.threadless.com is our merch store. There are 23 designs we put on t-shirts, and just if you think of something, well, what would you want to put this logo on? They probably do that. Right. I'm guessing that's what they do. They make stuff with logos on it. If you want a logo on a little notebook, if you want a notebook on a pair of slippers, I don't know if they do either of those things, but I'd be willing to bet it's very.
They do notebooks. They do notebooks. That for sure.
Go to ifanboy.com/support. There's a PayPal link there. If you're like, I don't know what the hell you just went on about. Just what do I do? That's there. ifanboy.com/Amazon has the general shopping link. It's an affiliate link for our Amazon. So if you were going to buy stuff from there anyway, if you go through that link, I mean, I'm going to appreciate it. I know Connor is going to appreciate it.
Absolutely.
That's how it's going to work. It's easy enough for you. Just do it. Why wouldn't you just do it? Go to ifanboy.com/Amazon. I was going to get into the Hurley Boy, but I couldn't figure out the words. That's 2 Saturday Night Lives this week. Bookshop.org we're going to link things that you could buy that are books on the site. And what it's going to do is going to send you to bookshop.org, where those things you buy will come from independent bookstores throughout this great nation.
We had a book club this week, so there's a link right now on the website.
Well, there you go. pretty good. Let's get done with that. I'd like to apologize again. Can I offer a blanket apology this week?
Is Garth Ennis okay?
So I was very much looking forward to the war number 3. It's been somber, but actually a quite realistic take. And the first part of this, I was like, wow, the first part of this is pretty brilliant. It's very sad, but it makes a lot of sense. And I was like, are those people really there or not? Have people come to deal with their... So anyways, if you read it, nuclear fallout, it's very bad. People are dying all over the place. The second part of this was when I was like, oh, we've gone Avatar.
So the war number 2... and the cliffhanger of war number 2 was that these armed men were coming to the cabin where these 2 people were with their baby.
Yeah.
And then war number 3 opens and they're all dead in the ground. And I went, wait a minute, what? Because that was the cliffhanger. Because I remember it was the same cliffhanger as everything dead and dying. And so I was very confused. Literally the first page is all the bodies in the ground. So I was like, wait a minute, what? And we find out that they died of radiation poisoning before they could even make it to the door.
Apparently that cabin is a lot more airtight than you would think.
True. And so I was reading it, and I was about halfway through, and I was like, how does this end? Because I knew it was the final issue.
I bet you didn't guess.
No, I didn't.
How
and I don't know how I felt about it. I don't know if it was a successful miniseries. And look, Garth Ennis is awesome. He's one of my favorite writers, but I don't know if this worked. I don't know what he was trying to say here. I mean, I think this guy's whole inner monologue about people and their sort of empty and shallow political opinions and arguing, and we became the worst version of ourselves, which led to the war happening and everyone dying. That's what he's trying to say, but I don't know that it was successful. I don't know. It's a very fucked up and bleak ending.
I think that it was... I think I know where he started, and I think I knew what he was doing in that, like, okay, well, let's like take this all the way down to the studs and be like, all right, how are we acting now as a society? And then could this happen? Yes. So let's play that out. And then you get to the end, and I guess he had to have an ending. I can't imagine that the book that I've been reading had that in the plan. And I'm not telling you, I didn't know that, by the way. I thought, God, where are we going to go after this? But I'm kind of glad that's good.
Yeah, it says end at the end.
Yeah. It says at the end of issues. I'm not good at that, as we all know. Yeah. I mean, also though, they could have just died. They could have also
That's
died.
What I mean. That's what I mean. I thought the first issue was really good. I thought the second issue was good. And then this issue.
The second issue was interesting because you don't see that part. You see how it plays out after. Right. We just talked about that with the book split too.
I feel like this miniseries either needed more issues or fewer issues. That's what I think.
I think you've got a really smart guy who's a writer trying to work through something, and maybe he was just being kind of loose about it because he can do that now. And Becky Cloonan's a great artist. It made you think and it made you feel. It may not have been a good way. In fact, it probably wasn't. But it's I just successful in some ways.
I remember finishing it and going, okay. I think the very next book I read was The Adventures of Lumen, and that helped. That helped write that away. I was like, okay, let's move on to something more fun, including on this show, Invincible Universe Battle Beast number 6. I have no idea how long this series is going, but
based on what they said in the end, it's going to go like. It's like I was like, this is like going back to the well, but in a way that kind of everybody's happy, everybody wins. Yeah. Like you're like, okay, Ryan Otley's like, I've had enough of doing this forever. Let's try some other things. And then I feel like him and Kirkman was like, you know what made us both really happy was making Invincible comics.
Right.
And so the big thing here is that, and it makes sense. Like, by the way, he said like, this is the biggest launch we've ever had. Think about what that means.
Right.
If you're Robert Kirkman, what that means.
Right.
They're selling a shitload of these books. They're buying boats. So basically what we did here is we tied at the very end of this, we tied this back to the Viltrumites. And I barely remember.
I still don't remember what happened to Battle Beast. I know he gets killed. I know he ends up a cape for one of the characters. People have already said, because I've said this before, people have told me what happened and it's already lost. It's already gone. And so you could tell me again and it'll leave again.
Who was the Viltrumite guy? He had a name and I was like,
it's Grand Regent Thrag. Isn't he the one that
Thrag.
ends up wearing Battle Beast?
I believe so, but I don't know.
Did we see him kill Battle Beast in the book? I don't know. That was so
I'm
long
guessing
ago.
we did. I'm guessing like that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And the thing about that book was it was like fight of the week, and there were so many characters. Like I
Right.
didn't really hold on to too
When
many
we
of
were
them.
in it, we knew. But then once it was
Mhm.
over, it was just like, well, that
Yeah.
was a long time ago. And then the pandemic happened, and
But
we had to
because
get
it was,
stupid.
which by the way, I tend to think that as being like it was serialized stuff. It's here's what this week, here's
Yeah.
next week. It's just a bunch of adventures. But you know, the creators are clearly energized. They're having fun. I think Battle Beast is kind of my least interesting part of the book. I want to spend time with the little half Prince alien guy and his AI robot suit. I like
Mhm.
those guys. You know, we know that the big Invincible. It's interesting that the Invincible wasn't used on purpose there. It's interesting that the main character doesn't want to succeed, and like the he doesn't want to. He wants to be killed,
Well,
but he
for
can't
success for
not.
him is being killed.
I know that. So from like reading an adventure story, like when your protagonist doesn't want to keep winning, but he's constantly winning, it's interesting.
He wants to die in battle like a good
Yeah,
Klingon. He can't just kill himself. He can't just walk into battle and say, "Kill me." He's got to fight, but he's got to
right.
fight someone that's better than him and kills him. And
But
so
he's so
turns out that
badass, there
no
isn't
one's better than
anyone.
him.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this, I think that this was originally a 6-issue mini, and I guess because of the sales, they're still going.
Yeah,
So he says it, and it says it at the end that the next issue will be in March. So taking a break,
yeah,
which is fine. That's totally fine. Everyone take a break. You know,
it's cool. I'm
who
fine with
says
it.
they got to come out every week?
I you know what? There's a Talksable that's going to come out this week, and that discussion is had. That's a foreshadow right there for you.
All right, so those are the books we're going to talk about. But at patreon.com/iFanboy, every patron of the show gets a chance to vote to add a book to the rundown. This week, the overwhelming favorite, I think it's like a 3-1 margin, was the vote, was Fantastic Four Gargoyles #1. Story by Greg Weisman, art by Enid Balsam, colors by Raul Angulo, or Angulo, letters by Joe Caramagna. And this, Josh, is but the latest chapter in the ongoing war between two Gen X hosts and their mostly millennial listeners.
I don't understand. I had a real moment
Yeah.
recently
Yeah.
where because I look at the votes, I see what people and
Yep.
I'm always like, well, like you guys know we're gonna read this, so why would you vote for it? And then I realize it's not voting for us to read it; it's voting for us to talk about it, and that's a different thing.
Well, it's all different things, but yeah, that is one thing.
Right,
Make
but
sure
I
it gets a good.
realized like it finally occurred to me. I was like, why are you voting for this book that we're clearly gonna read?
Well, not this one.
No, not this one, but just in
Yeah.
general. That was just a thought I had. And I
There's
was
all
like,
different.
oh, that makes sense.
People vote for all different reasons. Sometimes it's to alert us to a book they think we may not read. Sometimes it's to make sure the book gets a good discussion. It depends, but mostly.
However,
yeah,
this millennial comic book licensing property that they just keep making us go back to, and we keep going like you've heard the conversation we're about to have. And I guess if that's fun, but you've heard the conversation we're about to have.
Gargoyles is a much beloved cartoon. People love it. I've never seen an episode of it because it premiered when Josh and I were seniors in high school and ran.
Is that when it came out?
College, yeah.
That late?
94.
I remember it coming out and thinking that looks like something I would have really liked, but because I wasn't watching cartoons so much, like I did.
Basically, senior year of high school through my 10 years through like 20s, I wasn't watching cartoons after school. I was
right.
Yeah. I was 19. I was 18.
But then when you were 30, though,
came back to it.
Right back into it. Yeah.
But that's the dead zone. I've never seen Gargoyles. I've never seen Batman Beyond. You know, we didn't watch Power Rangers. We didn't watch Captain Planet. All these things that they keep having us read. It just wasn't our generation. I never seen Gargoyles. I know people love it. I've heard people talking about it for years, but I've never seen it. It just wasn't my thing. I was in college trying to get laid. So, don't know anything about it. Read it. Greg Weisman is the showrunner, I believe. I think because he's an animation guy. I assume he's the guy behind Gargoyles. He's written several comics. He wrote the Spider-Man book I liked that had Miles and Peter teaming up. He's a good writer. I thought this was fine. Like I read it, and you got what you needed to get as a one-shot issue, where the Fantastic Four team up with the Gargoyles to fight I don't remember anymore. I remember Grey Gargoyle was in there. I remember the Dragon Man was in there, but I don't remember. There was some sort of it was like Diablo and stuff. It was fine. It was fine. Like I've read way worse comics.
Allow me to disagree.
Okay.
This was a terrible fucking comic book.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to tell you why.
All right.
All right. A lot of times we talk about this where we say, all right, who is this for? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is this for? Okay, I tell you right now, when you read this book, you have to know everything about the Gargoyles because they're not giving you shit.
See, I disagree.
Let me you can take it out.
Go for it. Yeah.
There are so many characters in this book. There is a shot of the team. I sent Connor a picture of it. There are 14 characters who are gargoyles in this shot at the end of the book. I don't know who any of them are. They go through their names really quick. If you're watching the cartoon, you'd be fine with it. Then at the same time, you've got the entire Fantastic Four. You've got some bad guy that I guess was from Gargoyles, and he's hanging out with Tony Stark. You've got Grey Gargoyle. You've got Diablo. There was another villain in here somewhere. And they're referring to all these things. So like the secret of, what's her name? The mother demon, Demra, something. Demona. So there's something that went on there where they're like, well, you'll see. And I was like, I won't. So the audience for this has to be a person who knows classic Marvel really well and knows the Gargoyles really well, because other than that, it was entirely and completely uncompelling because they spent all the time bringing new characters onto the screen for no reason. Like, and the only thing I could see that you would glom onto would be like, I think that little demon has snappy dialogue. I didn't understand the fucking story. Are they saying that the Diablo now was the Diablo in the past?
Yes. Yeah, that seems to be what they're saying. Yep.
It was way too much fucking shit in here. Pick 5 of them to tell a story about. But they had everyone. I couldn't tell them apart. And then you've got this dude who's Etrigan. That's Etrigan.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck is that? I don't know if it's a DC character. Then they're like, oh yeah, let's throw in Dragon Man. I was like, just pick a fucking lane. I was so annoyed. I lost my train of thought in this so many times, and I had to keep flipping back because I was like, am I missing this? But no, it was a fucking mess. This was a waste of everyone's time.
See, I didn't have any of those problems. I thought, this kind of story, if you don't know all that stuff you're talking about, you just kind of run with the adventure of it.
But then there wasn't a hook. It wasn't an adventure. It was.
But I thought it was. I thought they fought a bunch of other gargoyles. They fought Grey Gargoyle. They fought Dragon Man.
That's just like, and these are over here, then these are over here, and that's not a story.
No, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
So I decided
it's not a story. It's just a fun.
I decided that. But then it was anyway, whatever. But I just decided at the beginning, like, I don't have any affection for these characters. I don't want to come on here and say, oh, I don't like these characters, so it doesn't mean anything to me. So then I was looking at it almost from the point of view of an editor, and I was like, you have to have a story. You have to have, like, we talk about this all the time in comic books where you name somebody and everything could be somebody's first issue, and they didn't give a shit about this at all. This was everybody who's in the club, and it's got to be a small club.
No, it's an entire generation below us. It's a lot of people.
It's people who know Fantastic Four. It's people who love Gargoyles.
We're reading comics.
It's people who are gonna buy a comic book. That's 47 people.
Well, no, that's not true. It's everyone 5 years younger than us who's reading comics now knows these characters.
Okay, 60 people. I mean, like, there's not a lot. Like, it's not a big audience, but
you often get really mad when you feel left out, and you're feeling left out here.
That is totally not the fucking point.
Yeah, well,
you
just insulted all the people who are Gargoyles fans. Like,
I'm saying there's not a lot of people reading comic books, and the crossover of that Venn diagram is small.
No, we know that's not true, though.
Okay, well, either way, but also, like, mostly just in the point, like, I think a comic book is supposed to do a thing. I think a comic book should, especially you're talking about something that's coming out from Marvel and Disney, like, tell a story, try harder. And that's the thing that bothered me. It was just like, let's put these people together for a couple of minutes, and then over here for a couple of minutes. It wasn't a story. It didn't make any effort to do the things that you're supposed to do in a comic book story. It was a series of pinups, basically. And I think it's lazy.
Yeah, I don't. There's not a single word you said that I agree with. I really don't.
It's not the first time.
I had a really fun time. It told the story. It's basically like a quick team up.
What was the story? Tell me the story.
The Diablo and this other guy had this spell that they didn't make work in the past. They were trying to make it work in the present. the gargoyles were awoken from their slumber, as well as the bad ones they fought. They needed the Fantastic Four's help to subdue them, and they got their help, and they subdued them, and they stopped them from wreaking havoc in New York. It's not Watchmen, but it's a story.
Allow me to retort. Ready?
Yeah.
Stupid.
You may not have liked it, but there was a
You're
story
nuts.
there.
The joke. It was a callback. I gave it stupid.
Okay, you're allowed to think it's stupid.
You have to respect the stupid rating now. I haven't felt this way since Strawberry Shortcake.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
I've only got so many hours left on this earth, and I'm not getting this one back.
Took you an hour to read this book?
Josh, you just spent more time complaining about it than it took you to read it. Yeah, that's how I got something good out of it.
All right, so what's your rating then on Fantastic Four Gargoyles #1?
What
did you give Strawberry Shortcake?
Like, I remember that. It's amazing that I remembered Strawberry Shortcake.
So you gave it 1 star, eat a dick. That's your rating.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to give it 3.25.
Jeez.
And yeah, I thought it was fun. We're not sticking with it because there's nothing else to stick with. It's a one shot, and neither one of us would have read it had we not been the Patron Pick. So there you go. The latest salvo in the war between the Gen X and Millennials.
To be fair,
they have the numbers. There's only 2 of us.
Yeah, and to be fair, we have subjected them to an awful lot of G.I. Joe talk.
That's true.
So let's, imagine if you're out there and you don't like Star Wars. Like, I don't like.
Well, that's not really a Gen X thing anymore.
I know.
Not even our thing anymore. It's their thing.
I want to know. I want you people. You voted for this. A lot of you are patrons. You're on the Discord. Like, you really think this was good?
They did.
Like,
they were enjoying it. Even reading the discussion. It's okay if you like things, and you don't have to say people don't actually like things they like. They can like things you don't like.
I didn't say that.
You just said, did you actually like it? You just said that.
I said, was it good?
Yes, if they liked it. This happens all the time. You don't like something, and you say people don't like things. They don't actually like them. They do. They can like.
I'm not that emotional. It's not that. I just think that sometimes there's things that are like, you're just being sold a thing that's not good. But whatever. I don't see what people get out of it, but I have no doubt that people do. I'm sure that I have things like that.
Patreon.com/iFanboy. Every patron can vote that book to the rundown. But if you give it the $5 or higher level, you get a superpower live on the show, like Paul Keddie. What do we think? It's Keddie? Paul Keddie?
Keddie.
Keddie? Keddie. It could be Keddie. Paul K. So Paul can. This is a bit of a visual gag, but I'll explain the best I can. Paul can take his thumb, stick it in his mouth, blow himself up like a balloon. His whole body, the more he blows, the bigger he gets. He expands out balloon size. That means he can float. He can float in the water. He can float into the air like a balloon, like a Macy's balloon.
Mm-hmm. Does he have locomotion or steering in some way, or is he at the
he'd have to create some sort of belt with like fans on it.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, because he's just going to blow himself, and then he gets big and floats away. Or if he weights himself down, he could float on the water.
Do you want to know where I am right now? By the way, I looked behind me on my screen from a disaffected position, and I didn't realize. I was like, "Oh, what guitar is that? That looks like a nice guitar." And I was like, "That's your guitar. It's behind you." That's where I am right now. So
it's been a long day.
Physics-wise,
yeah.
It's a closed system, so how does the air inflate him?
It's magic.
I don't want you to answer
how does Megatron go from a giant robot to a little handgun?
Oh no, I'm fine with it. I'm not complaining. It's just a question I had.
I know. This is the
back room. This is the back room thing where we're like, what about this? And then the writer has to go, who gives a shit?
Yeah, fuck off.
I'm gonna tell you. I have another.
Yeah.
So I had you get like the feeling you get water in your ear and you can't get out or whatever.
Can't get it
I'm
out.
trying to do the thing and I go like this to try to equalize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you blew it in your
which now makes like a weird noise when I do it. I don't know what that's about.
However,
a puff of air came out from under my eye. And I was like, did that just fucking happen? I looked it up and that can happen because there's sinuses that go that way. And I'm never ever doing that again because that freaked me out.
You're going to die first, right?
I mean, maybe. Or maybe I will be...
Your eyes are already coming out.
I will be the strongest.
I wouldn't do that either. If I felt air come out of my eye.
No, I did. I mean, I didn't know it was going to happen. But
No,
like,
if I do that, I would never ever do that again either.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I think you're not supposed to do that because you could blow your eardrum out.
No, that was one of the suggestions for doing the thing, and I don't know.
Was that what AI told you to do?
Well, I don't read that. Give me some more credit. That's
AI is taking us all down one by one.
Some guy on Reddit from 4 years ago, 18 posts down. I was like, that sounds like a good idea.
That makes more sense than the AI bot. Patreon.com/iFanboy. Thanks for being a patron, Paul. We appreciate your support. So Nick B wrote in and he sent in three questions, but the third one I think we can do quickly.
Okay.
Famous last words, but I think we can. Here we go. Sorry for the other question, Nick, but we're running out of time. Nick B from Melbourne, Australia says, this is a bonus question, but we're just doing it. Do you think comic book creators should be required to read every issue of a series before they start their run? For example, should Nick Spencer have read every issue of Spider-Man before his run on The Amazing Spider-Man?
No.
I mean, even just the time constraints on that, like how many thousands, well more than 1,000 issues of Spider-Man have come out, so that would take forever. That would take years.
It'd be like, let's watch every episode of 60 Minutes before we do a news story. Like, that's too much. But like the point, like, you don't necessarily want somebody to know everything and every way that it's been done and everything that's happened. I feel like that could be actually somewhat stifling because it's going to make you question all sorts of things and also be influenced in a way. Like,
right.
You should know and have an understanding of the character. But we're talking about how many years now? 70 years, 60 years?
Well, I mean,
close to 70.
When Nick Spencer started, they were close to issue 900 of Amazing, but there was Web of Spider-Man, there was Spectacular Spider-Man, there was Spider-Man. Like, you add all those books together, it would take you years and years and years to read all those comics. And so,
realistically, how many people out there would even like be able to benefit from that? Basically, well, I know every single thing that ever happened to Spider-Man. It's. I mean, I guess it's like covering your bases to an extreme.
God, that would really. I feel like that would destroy a writer too, because he's like, I can't tell any stories. I've read them all.
Yeah, exactly. And then
I think there should be a familiarity with the pertinent beats of Spider-Man's life if you're going to tell a story. Like, and that's partially the responsibility of the editor to be like, yeah, you're going to do this. You need to read these 5 Spider-Man comics just to have a sense of what's going on if you're going to reference this old story. And certainly writers have done that, and that happens all the time. I met this actor at a party who had been on Gotham. Super nice guy named Drew. He played Solomon Grundy, and he said DC sent him like a Solomon Grundy box, like a giant box full of Solomon Grundy comics, so he could familiarize himself with the character. But they didn't send him every Solomon Grundy comic ever made. Like, they, maybe the pertinence comics or important stuff or something. But the idea that if you're writing Batman, you've got to read every comic from 1939, from Batman and Detective and all the different Shadow of the Bat and Legends of the Dark Knight, like that would take you 10 years, and you would, by that time, the gig is over.
I mean, even aside from the time logistics of it, which don't make any sense, it's just. No, I mean, that's not what a writer does. There's no objective answer to what you should know or be able to do to be able to tell a story with a given character. It just isn't. And eventually, it's going to become really obvious to everybody who is reading it and putting that thing out whether the person can do the job or not. And if it isn't like totally, if it's no prize city and there's continuities all fucked up, then that will. That'll sort of tell the tale, unless it's really good, and then it doesn't matter. And there's no rules.
And also, that's again sort of what the support editorial system is for, is to be like, have a better handle on those kind of issues. Like, tell your story. We'll worry about whether this contradicts other things or not. And that should never be the primary.
So every assistant editor should read.
Yeah, every assistant editor, obviously, they can't afford to do anything else. So they should spend all their time they would otherwise spend eating, reading comics. So it's just not a realistic thing that can happen.
I mean, they should. I mean, I assume that the process, not assume, I understand that the process often starts with like an editor will say to somebody, hey, what do you think of Hellcat?
Right.
And then the writer will always go, oh, I love Hellcat. No, immediately.
Yeah, they may say, can I get some Hellcat?
Right, but what
reference, but they're not going to require them to read all the
right.
Hellcat.
So, but what I'm saying is like, you figure out if this person has a take on Hellcat or whoever, and like that's and a story. I mean, that's like what would you do? All right, well, here's my take on the character. Here's who I think she is. Here's the story I would tell. That's how it starts. And if that's good, if that hooks the interest of the powers that be, that's it. That's what you need to do. And then maybe you want some reference after that for history or whatever. Maybe not. I don't know. There's no rules and there should not be.
Yeah, and everyone wants like the writers and the artists to like know everything with the favorite character and never contradict anything or mess it up. But it's also just impossible. These characters have been around so long.
And that's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah. And that's why they invented the no prize years after these characters were.
Which is the most brilliant thing Stan Lee ever did. Speak.
Some dirt. Thanks for writing in, Nick. Sorry we didn't have time for your other questions, but that is the way it goes. Let's wrap up here and get moving to the after show. So where are we? Oh, Nick wrote into contact@ifanboy.com. You can do that too if we want to hear from you. If you want to get on this show, if you want to get on our Media Split show, or put Media Split in the subject line. Thank you very much. 2 weeks ago, we had our Media Split show where we talked about the things we've been enjoying, and then Josh boogied off the show, and Ron and I talked about One Battle After Another on Alien Earth Season 1. So you can find that in the feed a couple shows back. This past week, we had our Booksplode review of Spectators. They were Spectators by Brian K. Vaughan and Nico Henrichan and Phonographics. So you can find that right behind the show in the feed. That's the new OGN.
Phonographics?
Phonographics. Phono.
Oh,
Phonographics.
Sorry. I don't know why that word popped into my head.
And this coming week, we have a Talksplode coming, Josh.
Yeah, I spent an hour and change talking to comic book artist Jason Fabok. And
Fabok.
when I asked him how to say it, because and then when I said it to him immediately after that, starting the show, I panicked as the words came out of my mouth, and that same thing just happened now. Fabok. You may know him from DC Comics. He spent about 14 years working at DC Comics. And you might wonder, hey, that guy just showed up out of nowhere doing Batman. That's true. His first published story ever was fucking Batman. which is not a usual thing. No. And then he went over to Ghost Machine, Jeff Johns's I like to call it Jeff Johns's publishing thing, but it's actually not. It's co-owned by all those people, and that is significant. We talk about that. And he's doing Rook Exodus with Jeff over there.
And we talked your favorite comic?
No, I didn't tell him my specific take on it, which is I shouldn't like this. It doesn't make any sense, but I really like it.
Yeah, I think what you should start doing in these interviews is tell them, I shouldn't like your book. But I do.
Gabe Hardman, he scared me a long time ago with that one time.
I think
we were interviewing. We got through the entire interview. He goes, yeah, but you didn't even read it and you don't like it. That's true, Gabe. Thank you. He also hates being called Gabe, but I just did it.
You just triple whammied it.
Yeah.
So that's coming this week
for life.
You can look for that soon on the 23rd of October, because on the 24th is our live Pick of the Week episode 1000. So that's coming in next week. So the show itself will start at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on youtube.com/ifanboy. But the live stream will open up about half an hour before that. We're going to have about a 20-minute video for you to watch, appropriate for the anniversary. So get there early, come to the live feed, check out the video. It'll be fun. We're going to be talking about the pick of the week and the patron pick, and then all of the rest of the show will be your listener mail for as long as we can stand it. So that means if you're a patron, you got an important job. Your job is to vote for the only other book we're going to talk about other than the pick of the week. Josh and I were just looking at next week's list before the show started. It's a lot of books. So Josh has got a big job for him. The patron's got a big job. I don't have to do shit other than do all the other work.
He's like, if you like this show, you can thank that guy.
So I also should make that video. There will be special guests. We are reconfirming everyone right now, but we're gonna have I think at this moment we have 7 reconfirms. We're looking for the final 3. Hopefully everyone confirms and we have a fun chaotic time. And there's still time to get your emails in for the show. I think
I was going to ask. You haven't shut the books yet, huh?
We haven't, not yet. I think I'm going to set a deadline for Wednesday, October 22nd, end of day Wednesday. Get your emails in. Put 1,000 in the subject line. Get in the show. We've got tons and tons and tons of emails, but maybe yours is awesome, and we'll pick it out of the bag, and you still have time to get it in. So do that. We'll see you next week. Come for the live show. If you can't make it, it'll be on YouTube forever for you to see, and it'll be out to listen to the weekend anyway, the audio version. So hopefully you can make it out. We want to have a party, and see you then. In the meantime, go to iFanboy.com. Find our library of I think I counted the other night. It's over 2,000 something shows total when you count the video shows as well. Over at iFanboy.com, wherever podcasts are sold. Never miss a show. Find out what the pick of the week is before the show comes out by following us at iFanboy Comics on Instagram and Threads. iFanboy.com at Blue Sky. Individually, we are CS Kilpatrick on Instagram. J. Flanagan still on Instagram for now. And don't miss our former writer Jeff Reed's video deep dives into forgotten comic book minutia every Tuesday and Wednesday. Nope, every Tuesday and Friday across our social channels and YouTube. Not all the social channels, just Threads and Facebook and Instagram. Yes, I'm done. I'm trying to stifle sneeze. That's why my brain is bifurcated at the moment.
Okay, so please try doing like this and just blow super hard.
I'm either going to blow up like that.
God, if your headphones had gone like this, it would have been the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Please consider writing a review, leaving a star rating on Apple Podcasts. I'm not in any position to tell you to be kind in your review at this point. I think that's clear. No, but did you smile listening to it? That's all that really counts.
That's
leave a star rating in podcast, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're listening on Pocket Casts, you have to have been subscribed and downloaded some episodes before you rate it. Did you talk to the Brillstein group about Pocket Cats? Or should we take this offline? Okay.
We should get with our lawyers and talk about it.
Subscribe to youtube.com/iFanboy, where you can watch the video version of what you just listened to or that you're already watching on YouTube now. As well as all of our special edition shows, Jeff Reed's comic book deep dives, and you can find an archive of all the old shows we did when we did that regular professional for the time show from 2007 to 2012. Finally, you can join us on the iFanboy after show if you are a patron at $10 or higher. We're going to talk about all the books this week that we didn't talk about, that we read but we didn't talk about. So that's a fun time. Thank you. I'm crashing. It's bad.
Let's go do the after show before you're totally dead. Until then, my name is Connor.
I think it was stupid. I'm Josh.